My father-in-law's farewell party was held at Chin's Haitian hotel. Sunny walked in with Ryan on her right hand and Leo on her left hand. She was wearing a red tube-top skirt and clacking high heels, which was particularly eye-catching at the solemn farewell party. The guests turned their heads, looked at them in shock, and talked about it. They must be saying, so what if Victor is the richest man in Haicheng? It's okay that the only son is idle and plays around, but he was late for his father's funeral and brought an actor dressed in inappropriate clothes. I don't know if he came to mourn or to disrupt the situation. Maybe someone is already planning how to divide Qin's Jinhai group. After all, with such a successor, the future of Jinhai group is worrying. Mayor, you are too polite. No wonder my father always says that you are the patron saint of businessmen. We in Jinhai will continue to support the government. After seeing off the deputy mayor in charge of the economy, I walked towards Ryan and happened to hear him talking to Sunny. Sunny, look, this is our hotel. From now on, the top floor presidential suite will be reserved for you as your exclusive room. You are so good, Ryan. Before my father-in-law's body is cold, you want to snatch the things he gave me to please your lover. Do you really not care about our 6-year marriage? Yuan, the hotel does not accept outsiders today, and your friend's clothes are not suitable. If she wants to stay in the hotel, please ask her to go to another place. Our family will go to Bao and say goodbye to my father-in-law first. In order not to affect the funeral, I held back and did not get angry. After that, I reached out to hold Leo's hand. Don't touch me, you ugly bastard. I want Aunt Sunny to hold my hand. Leo opened my hand and hid behind Sunny, looking at me in panic, as if I was a monster that would eat children, not a mother who had been pregnant for 10 months and breastfed for 2 years to give birth to him and raise him. My eyes darkened, and I didn't understand how the baby who had a baby voice and said that I was the most beautiful mother in the world could become like this today. Rachel, what are you doing? Don't you see what kind of occasion this is, with so many people around? Quickly put away your snake skin claws. Don't you know to wear gloves to cover it? You don't have Sister Yenner's white and tender skin that can be blown away. Ryan looked at my hand with disdain, then turned his head quickly, as if he saw something dirty. I clenched my fists and tried my best to tell myself to be patient. My father-in-law treats me like his own daughter. For his sake, I can't get angry. Don't argue with fools. Don't argue with fools. Then he silently put his hands behind his back and said to them, let's go. Dad is waiting for us to see him off. Wait, you have to promise me one thing first, then I will go. Ryan stopped me. I was really confused. I always ask him for help. Does he need my promise for anything? It was a complete accident that I met Ryan. My grandfather is a famous doctor in Haicheng, and he has superb acupuncture skills. Mr. Qin, the richest man, had a long-term headache and was my grandfather's old patient. After my grandfather passed away, his only disciple, her daughter, my mother, took over the treatment. My mother ran the clinic alone and was often too busy to eat. When I was on vacation, I would learn recipes from the internet and make delicious food for her in various ways. Once, Mr. Qin saw it and was envious. My daughter is still considerate. I wish my bad boy could be half as sensible as Dr. Rachel's daughter. Dr. Rachel is a kind doctor, so she gave him some of the dishes and porridge I cooked. A few days later, I received a strange call, asking me if I was Dr. Rachel's daughter, saying that he was Victor's son, and gave me the address to go to his house. I thought my mother had made Mr. Qin's doctor bad, and the family members came to make trouble. I came to the Qin family villa in fear and begged him to cry and not to pursue my mother. Ryan looked weird and was stunned for a few seconds. He said that if I cooked for him for a month, he would forgive my mother. I quickly nodded and agreed. I had to work during the day, so I would cook at night and rush home after finishing. Gradually, I became familiar with Ryan. I knew that his mother died of complications during childbirth and his father was busy making money. He was actually a poor child from a single-parent family like me. I was luckier than him because my mother gave me all her love. One day half a month later, I was about to leave after cooking when I saw Ryan coming back at some point, lying on the living room floor, reeking of alcohol. I woke him up and told him not to sleep on the floor because he would catch a cold. He mumbled, turned over, and closed his eyes again. There was no one else at home, so I could only help him to the bed. Unexpectedly, he hugged me and cried loudly. This arrogant Jinhai prince showed his vulnerable side for the first time. Yesterday he was like a knight who fell from the sky and beat away the yellow-haired man who wanted to be a hooligan to me. He looked like a glowing guardian angel in the sunset. I hugged him back with heartache, wanting to give him comfort and strength. He threw me on the bed. It was a ridiculous night. In the morning, Ryan sobered up and apologized to me, saying that he shouldn't have offended me when he was drunk. It turned out that in his mind, last night was just a mistake. I left the Chin family villa awkwardly and returned to my previous life of going between the company and the clinic. I cut off contact with Ryan. I was secretly sad and tried to suppress the budding heartbeat. However, accidents always come unexpectedly. 2 months later, I found out that I was pregnant, but I didn't dare to tell my mother, she would be sad to death. When she was young, she met my father while traveling. The two fell in love at first sight. My mother got pregnant with me, but my father didn't come to propose marriage as promised. In that era, the scorn and rumors faced by unmarried pregnancy were enough to kill people. She had experienced it and would never tolerate me making the same mistake. I could only ask Ryan for help. He was the young master of Jinhai Company, and there would always be a way. Ryan was a little surprised to see me, but he just kept smiling politely. When he heard that I was pregnant, his eyes lit up and he said he would solve it and asked me to wait for his news at home tomorrow. Unexpectedly, the Chin family came to my house to propose marriage. I was very happy, thinking it was a surprise from Ryan. During the more than half a month of getting along, I have gradually fallen in love with this simple big boy. Every day when he opened the door for me, he always had a bright smile on his handsome face, like the sun in winter warming my lonely heart. When I cooked, he always watched beside me, helped to pick and wash vegetables, and had no airs of the rich second generation on TV. Most importantly, that day when Huang Mao was a hooligan, Ryan saved me. He didn't stare at my embarrassed look, but turned around and took off his coat, saying it was too hot and asked me to help him put it on. I understood that he saw that my clothes were torn and lent it to me to cover my shame. This awkward and thoughtful kindness touched me. The little flower called love in my heart quietly sprouted. With my baby and my longing for love, I stepped into the palace of the wedding. In the second year after marriage, I learned that Ryan had a goddess who he loved, but could not get, Sunny. The first time he came to me, he wanted to learn how to make colorful shrimp porridge and sweet and sour pork ribs for his father to eat, so that he could coax him into buying him a yacht, the one Sunny liked. That time he got drunk and lay on the floor was also because of Sunny. She moved to Hong Kong and got engaged to the young master of a rich family in Hong Kong. Ryan was heartbroken and drank 2 bottles of white wine. When I went to him when I was pregnant, he had just received a call from Sunny, crying about her fiancé's infidelity. Ryan was heartbroken and wished he could take her place. He was worrying about how to get his father to let him go to Hong Kong so that he could comfort his Sunny. The arrival of me and my baby gave him inspiration. After getting married, he would be an adult. And with a grandson, his father would no longer stare at him and discipline him all day. My baby and I were just a part of the game between him and Sunny. When I was pregnant, I had a strong reaction and vomited all over the place. Coincidentally, he brought back hawthorns, and I wanted to eat a few to calm the nausea. He snatched it back, saying that he had driven more than 10 hours to the mountains to pick them for Sunny, and that not a single one of the 520 must be missing. One night when I was more than 8 months pregnant, I suddenly had a stomachache that made me unable to move, so I quickly asked Ryan to take me to the hospital. He ignored me and was busy video chatting with Sunny. My stomach was getting more and more painful, and the amniotic fluid was all over the floor. I didn't want to die, and I didn't want the baby to die, so I crawled to Ryan's side with one breath, pulled his trouser legs, and begged him to save my life. He finally looked at me with charity and helped me call 120. At that moment, I gave up on him and decided to divorce and take my son home to live with my mother. Anyway, I was married, and my son would not become an illegitimate child with an unknown father like me. But he disagreed, because Sunny suddenly became interested in the white and tender baby and wanted to tease him occasionally. My father-in-law also disagreed with me taking the only grandson of the Chin family away and making him a child from a single-parent family. We have been living separately for more than 4 years, and we don't contact each other unless necessary. Why should he beg me? This is the divorce agreement. My son belongs to me. I'll go after you sign it. Ryan opened the electronic agreement on his phone. He is really capable. He always refreshes my understanding of him again and again. Attending his father's funeral, there are additional conditions. I looked at Leo hiding in Sunny's arms. Rue, do you want to follow your father or your mother? Of course it's your father. Ugly, sign it quickly. Aunt Sunny will be my new mother from now on. She is prettier than Li Yuqing's mother. Leo blurted out, and was as obsessed with Sunny as his father. I don't remember at all that when I was 3 years old, I was almost burned to death by his father and new mother. That day, his father celebrated Sunny's birthday in the wine cellar. He lit candles and made wishes. As they were making wishes, they kissed each other and couldn't wait to go upstairs to roll up the sheets. Leo was left alone in the wine cellar to play. I don't know how he knocked over the cake and set the surrounding wine on fire. Maybe it was because of the mother-son connection. My heart suddenly beat fast. I felt something was wrong, and ran to the basement. Leo's clothes were on fire. He cried and shouted, "Mom, Mom, save the baby." I rushed in without hesitation, took off my clothes, wrapped him up and carried him out. He was unharmed. My hands were severely burned, leaving ugly scars. At that time, Leo pouted, "Mom, does it hurt? Baby, give me a hug." But later, the cute and caring Leo disappeared. He only called me ugly, said I was not worthy of being his mother, told me to get out, and said he was sick to see me. I carefully read the divorce agreement, which stated that the couple had no common property and did not need to be divided. Ryan had already signed it. I sneered and wrote the 3 words Rachel. Ryan, Leo, as you wish, from now on, we have no relationship. I wait and see how happy your family of 3 can be. After seeing off the guests at the farewell party, I prepared to go to the hotel room to rest. Ryan walked towards me angrily. Rachel, what right do you have to occupy the top floor? Give me the room card back. Yes, he said he would give the top floor to Sunny as soon as he came in. Now I want to go in, but I find that the hotel has no room card, only I have it. Why? Just because my father-in-law said that he would give the top floor to me and gave me the room card in person. I didn't give in at all. You were the daughter-in-law of the Chin family then, but now you are an outsider. Give it back to me. I want to take Sunny to rest. Don't be shameless. Sunny held Ryan's arm and said in a teasing tone, Sister, the Chin family's property belongs to Yuan and his children. You should be sensible. It will be disgraceful when the guards come later. Rue is still watching here. Ugly. Room card. Give it to me. Leo stared at me and stretched out his hand for the room card. Hurry up, Aunt Sunny is tired after standing for so long. I want to go to the room to massage her back. Leo can't wait to be a filial son to Sunny. It's really ironic. The farewell party started at 9 o'clock and ended at 12 o'clock. I came to check the venue layout at 7 o'clock, and they came late at more than 11 o'clock. Who is more tired? Thinking about the heartfelt dedication to Leo in the past few years, in the end, I am not as good as an outsider. I really feel unworthy of myself. Manager Chen, please ask these people to leave. I was completely desperate and didn't want to bother with them anymore, so I waved to the lobby manager. Manager Chen looked at me in embarrassment. He knew Ryan was the young master of Jinhai Company. Rachel, this? Ryan pointed at me arrogantly and said, Rachel, who do you think you are? Don't be shameless, Manager Chen, look clearly, Ryan is the successor of Jinhai. Tell the guards to drag this ugly woman out. Young master, your father said. My father is dead. I will be the head of Jinhai from now on. I have divorced this woman. She has nothing to do with the Qin family. She is not allowed to touch the Qin family's assets in the future. Ryan interrupted Manager Chen and began to exercise his rights as the head of the family impatiently. Yes. She is not allowed to enter the Qin family. Leo nodded and agreed. A team of guards came towards me aggressively. Sister, hand over the room card quickly. You can't keep something that doesn't belong to you by force. Sunny stood behind the Qin family father and son who acted as flower protectors, looking at the guards who came to arrest me, feeling very proud. I calmly ordered, Xiao Wang, Xiao Li, drag these 3 people out, and don't let them enter Haitian Hotel in the future. Yes. Ryan and Leo can't enter either. We had a meeting before setting up the venue last night. They knew that Haitian Hotel had been transferred to my name, and they also knew who would pay their salaries in the future. Only the lobby manager had something to do at home last night and asked for leave. What are you doing? Open your dog eyes and see clearly who I am. Ryan angrily shook off the guards. Take your dog paws away, don't touch Sunny. Xiao Wang kindly explained to him, Ryan, I'm sorry. Rachel has taken over Haitian and become our new boss. We must listen to her. Ryan was stunned for a few seconds, then regained his composure. Rachel, don't be complacent. It's just a small hotel, just a drop in the bucket of Jinhai's industry. My dad gave it to you because he felt sorry for you. Without Jinhai's support, you will be closed down in less than half a year. Closed down, ugly bastard. Aunt Sunny, don't be afraid, Rui will protect you. Leo made a face at me. The 3 of them supported each other and walked out of the hotel. Ryan was right. Haitian was indeed the most insignificant industry under Jinhai, and it didn't make much money. But he forgot that this was the starting point of his father-in-law's fortune. It was designed and built by him and his mother-in-law, and it was the most inseparable sentiment. In his father-in-law's heart, whoever gets Haitian is equivalent to getting the entire Jinhai company. After soaking in the private hot spring pool in the presidential suite on the top floor, I came out wrapped in a bathrobe and called 2 technicians to come to my house for a massage. My legs were sore from standing all morning. One for my legs, and one for my shoulders and neck. I told 2 handsome guys who came in with toolboxes, one a cool and tough guy, the other a gentle and considerate one, both top technicians in the hotel. The personal service of the top handsome guy diluted the pain that Leo brought me. Can a 5-year-old kid have the massage skills as good as them? Can he be so obedient as them? While enjoying the massage, I was browsing my phone to kill time. Having money and free time, not having to serve men and children, this is the life a woman should live. Comfortable. I will never forget my promise to you. Captain Sunny, please inspect your yacht Princess. It was a post Ryan had just made on WeChat Moments. He bent down and made a princely bow to Sunny, inviting Sunny to board the pure white yacht next to him. The yacht was engraved with the English letters, Clovis, and the Chinese characters, Princess Sunny. Maybe because he was no longer under the supervision of his father-in-law, or because he was about to inherit a 100 billion asset, Ryan completely let himself go. He bought a yacht worth tens of millions without blinking an eye and registered it in the name of his goddess. He learned to cook for me to please his father-in-law by buying this yacht, and it finally came true after 6 years. Who said that men's words are farts? He would catch the farts of his lover and smell them a few times. There were many rich second generations from Haicheng in the comment area, who liked and commented, congratulating him on getting what he wanted. I remember this yacht. I saw it in Sunny magazine a few years ago. She said it was beautiful at the time, and our young Master Qin actually remembered it until now. Ryan is indeed the love saint in our circle. I am ashamed of myself. You deserve to be the one who gets the beauty. A big deal. The atmosphere is already here, we must enter the bridal chamber tonight. So sweet. Ryan is so awesome. The prince defeated the witch and lived happily with the princess. I can see these because they are our mutual friends. They once said confidently at the wedding that we are a perfect match and wished us a long life together. Well, life is like a play, and the acting is good. I also gave a thumbs up. The allowance that my father-in-law gave Ryan was limited to 5 million a month, which was withdrawn monthly. Ryan didn't know what savings meant and always spent all his money. So did he sell his car or his villa for the 10 million? Or did he take out a loan? I'm really curious. How embarrassed he must be when he has to pay off his debts. The male technician has great strength, and the feeling after the massage is really different. When I get up in the morning, my waist and legs are no longer sore. In the past, I was afraid of my identity as Rachel of the Qin family and the bad influence, so I only dared to order female technicians, and I really missed a lot of happy times. I just slept too soundly and woke up at 9 o'clock. I turned on my silent phone and saw 99 plus unread messages. They were sent by my assistants and directors in Jinhai. I glanced at it casually and calmly asked the catering department to send breakfast over. Anyway, I'm already late, so there's no need to rush. Let Ryan be proud for a while, and I'll meet him after I'm full. The biggest lesson I learned from my father-in-law's death is that health always comes first. Without a healthy body, no matter how much money you have, you can't enjoy it. So you have to eat every meal carefully. After breakfast, I came to Jinhai headquarters refreshed. Assistant Name was already waiting at the door. When she saw me, she nervously pulled me aside and accused Ryan. Rachel, why did you come just now? Ryan came as soon as he got to work, and immediately asked Mr. Chen, the financial director, to transfer 100 million to him, which made Mr. Chen very angry. He almost pointed at his nose and called him a loser. When Mr. Chen disagreed, Ryan said he was not in compliance with management and wanted to fire him, and whoever obeyed him would be the financial director. Now he has convened a board meeting and announced that he has officially taken over Jinhai. What should we do? Rachel, please persuade him. Victor can't let him ruin the empire he has worked so hard to build. Why aren't you anxious? You can still laugh. Of course I have to laugh. Ryan is a big joke. Jinhai has hundreds of billions of assets. Does he think he can take over with just one sentence and his last name Qin? It's also his fault that he has been obsessed with chasing goddesses in recent years and has never had a good chat with his father-in-law. He doesn't know his father-in-law's plan for Jinhai, and he has forgotten what a careful, cautious, bold and ruthless pioneer he is. And I, after Leo was weaned, had a lot of free time. My father-in-law couldn't bear to see me being ignored by his son and grandson, so he asked me to work at Jinhai. Unexpectedly, I was so talented in business that I could hit the nail on the head with my comments. Many of my business ideas also coincided with my father-in-law's. My father-in-law saw that Ryan's mind was not on business, and he became more and more disappointed with him, and he valued me more and more. He appointed me as the chairman's assistant and took me with him to guide me carefully. Before he passed away, I had been studying with him for more than 3 years, and I knew Jinhai's business and connections like the back of my hand. How could Ryan, who only wanted money and chased women, compare with me? Ugly, why are you here? We are discussing business, get out, this is not a place for you to come. Ryan saw me and wanted to ask the guards to drive me away. Unfortunately, he was disappointed again. The directors seemed to be relieved to see me, and they all rushed to talk to me. Rachel, great, you are finally here. Rachel, Victor trusted you the most when he was alive. What plans did he have for Jinhai? Yes, Rachel, tell us, otherwise we won't feel at ease. Rachel, Jinhai has such a large group of people, the livelihoods of tens of thousands of families, Victor wouldn't have considered it. It can be seen that these directors are really anxious, and they are completely different from their usual calm demeanor. As they spoke, they winked at me and nodded at Ryan, telling me that I must not let Ryan take over Jinhai, because he would definitely ruin Jinhai and everyone else's. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you think I'm dead? I'm Victor's son, the only one. His biological son. I've divorced Rachel, she's not a member of the Qin family anymore, why don't you kick her out? Does everyone come to attend Jinhai's board meeting? Ryan got anxious when he saw that everyone was surrounding me and ignoring him. The meeting room suddenly became quiet when they heard the word divorce. The directors turned pale, as if it was the end of the world. Especially Mr. Chen, he was so angry that he could hardly breathe. He has been managing Jinhai's finances for decades, working diligently and spending every penny he approved on the most cost-effective basis. Ryan asked for 100 million yuan, and I couldn't imagine how long Jinhai could last under his management. I quickly winked at the secretary of the board of directors, asking him to calm down Mr. Chen. This is a rare financial expert, and nothing can happen to him. Everyone calm down, don't worry, we have all worked hard with Victor, so we should understand that his dedication to Jinhai is definitely better than blood ties. I won't let Ryan talk nonsense here. Because Jinhai Group has tens of thousands of employees, they support hundreds of thousands of people, this big family is thousands of times more important than his small family. Rachel, what do you mean? How could my father not value me? Ryan raised his fist excitedly and wanted to rush over to hit me. As soon as he stood up, he was pulled by the secretary. Nain took out a tissue and wiped the chair. Pooh, what a bad smell. Oh, it turned out to be the smell of a prodigal. Rachel, I wiped it clean, please sit down. This naughty post-00s secretary couldn't stand Ryan's shameless cheating as a married woman, and often secretly stood up for me. After I sat down, I asked the directors to sit down. A good meeting should not be turned into a vegetable market because of some people who are worse than pigs and dogs. Don't worry, Victor made a will before his death. Name, please invite lawyer He Youan. What will? Why don't I know? Rachel, did you collude with the lawyer to fabricate it? Ryan was shocked to hear that there was a will. Ryan was shocked when he heard about the will. The authenticity of the will is certified by the notary office. Now we live in a society ruled by law. If you have evidence to prove that I forged it, you can also sue me in court. As for how you didn't know there was a will, I have to ask, where were you on the night your father-in-law died? Why? Are you embarrassed to say it? I'll tell you for you. You were happily listening to the concert of the mistress. As the only son, with the only grandson. He refused to answer the phone to see the old man for the last time. He died with hatred. The directors looked at him with contempt, feeling sorry for his father-in-law. He worked hard all his life, and after his mother-in-law passed away, he was afraid that his stepmother would treat Ryan badly, so he never remarried. In the end, this son was worse than a piece of barbecued pork. Ryan blushed, opened his mouth, and couldn't say anything. Because what I said was the truth, everyone in his circle of friends saw it, and the obituary of my father-in-law also had the time of death, which could not be false. However, there was one thing I didn't say, he didn't answer the phone call from my mobile phone. After the will came into effect, I called him using my father-in-law's mobile phone. He answered the phone in seconds. But it was too late. My father-in-law had changed the person who inherited Jinhai Group in the will to me. My father-in-law holds 80% of Jinhai's shares. The original will was that Ryan would inherit 35%, ensuring that he would live a prosperous life in the second half of his life, and I would inherit 45%, with absolute decision-making power to ensure that Jinhai would have successors. Unfortunately, Ryan was still obsessed with women when he was dying, and had no sense of responsibility as a son or a husband. He was completely disappointed, and at the last moment of his life, in front of the lawyer and the notary, he changed the inheritance to me. Yes, I had contacted the lawyer and the notary in advance. There is also a 360-degree camera in my father-in-law's bedroom to ensure that the will is authentic and valid. I knew Ryan would commit suicide. My father-in-law has been strong all his life. Even when he had liver cancer, he insisted on a healthy routine. He looks no different from before. Ryan believed Sunny's lies and thought that my father-in-law favored me, so he pretended to be sick to trick him into staying at home and not letting him see Sunny. He wanted to take revenge on me and refused to go home. He also took Leo away and did not let him attend the classes arranged by my father-in-law and me, saying that he wanted to give the child a happy childhood. Leo threw the golf club and the whip in my face and jumped into Ryan's Maserati. So Ryan didn't believe what I said about my father-in-law dying. And we have been living our own lives for a long time, and he hasn't answered my calls for a long time. I can call him again and again in front of my father-in-law without any worries, knowing that he won't answer and won't come back. After lawyer he read out the will, warm applause and cheers rang out in the conference room. Victor is wise. I said don't worry, Victor will make his own arrangements. Chairman Rachel, congratulations, I, Lowly, absolutely support you. Yes. Chairman Rachel's ability is obvious to all, and inheriting Jinhai is the popular choice. Victor, you scared me to death, woo woo woo. In the end, Mr. Chen actually cried. He worked with his father-in-law since he was a teenager, and personally built Jinhai into the largest enterprise in Hai City. He has the deepest feelings for Jinhai and is most afraid that Jinhai will be handed over to the prodigal son. Ryan's face turned pale, and he collapsed on the ground, muttering to himself, impossible, absolutely impossible, I am my father's son, how could he give Jinhai to an outsider? It's fake, it must be fake, am I dreaming? Pa. Pa. Mr. Chen stretched out his hand and gave Ryan 2 big slaps. Ryan, these 2 slaps, I slapped him on behalf of Victor. I watched you grow up, and I am also your elder. You were so well behaved when you were a child, you studied well and were filial. Later, you met that stinky girl from the Su family, and you became what you are now. Mr. Chen was also very disappointed. Old man, don't let you talk about Sunny. What's wrong with us being in love? Then why did you provoke Ruashin? Marry Ruashin? A man should be responsible for his family after marriage. Why don't you look like Victor at all? Mr. Chen shook his head and signaled the guards to drag him out. Staying here would only embarrass Victor more. Rachel, don't be complacent, I will definitely find evidence that you forged your will. I will be back. Ryan shouted unconvinced. I smiled calmly, took the information handed over by the assistant, and discussed with the directors the plan of Jinhai to set up a new company and enter the green energy industry. Ryan is just a clown. Making money is the most important thing. I want to take Jinhai out of China and into the world. I took the project plan to the government for approval with confidence, but it was rejected. The mayor encouraged me to do it at the last farewell party. He said that the government is also planning to vigorously develop the green energy industry, and hopes that Jinhai will play the advantages of local leading enterprises, be a good leader, and fire the first shot. I hurriedly called the mayor to inquire about the situation. It turned out that it was Ryan who did it. In order to make it difficult for me, he reported Jinhai everywhere, wrote letters, made phone calls, and left messages online, and used all kinds of methods. He said that Jinhai's green energy project would pollute the environment and emit a large amount of carcinogens. After hearing this, the people were furious. They went to the government and the construction site to hold banners and sit in protest to prevent our project from starting. Ryan even directly exposed me as the project leader, saying that I was a vicious woman who abandoned her husband and children and swindled his property, and a black-hearted capitalist who took advantage of others' wealth. There was a lot of abuse online against me and Jinhai. In order to appease the people, the government had to shelve the project. But we had already paid 20 billion in advance to purchase equipment and minerals abroad. Jinhai didn't have that much working capital either, most of it was borrowed from banks. The interest was several million every day, and time was money, so we couldn't waste it. At first, some directors suggested that I temporarily resign from the position of chairman and sell the Haitian hotel to repay the interest. I was unwilling to admit defeat, so I worked overtime with my employees and the company to find a solution. Rachel, you know what will happen if you offend me. Ryan called me proudly. Return Jinhai to me, and I will withdraw those reports. Otherwise, you will go bankrupt with Jinhai. My Sunny is really beautiful and talented. She came up with such a good idea. If I can't have it, you can't have it either. Idiot. A poisonous and stupid thing. He actually did such a self-defeating thing for his own selfishness. I was so angry. Did he think that the report letter could be withdrawn casually? The emotions of the masses were incited, and it was not so easy to calm down. Jinhai might be ruined by him. More than 10,000 families will be destroyed. Ryan, I really doubt whether you are my father-in-law's biological child. How could such a wise man have such a stupid son like you? I guess my father-in-law would be so angry when he saw what you did that he would crawl out and push you into the 18th level of hell. It's better to raise a dog than to raise you. You are worse than an animal. After saying that, I hung up the phone, blocked him, and ignored him. Our Zinhafing Green Energy Company was put into operation as scheduled. After hanging up the phone that day, I suddenly had an idea and thought of a solution. In fact, the nature of the common people is not bad. They stopped us just because they didn't understand and didn't trust us. But there are many people who trust us, such as Jinhai's more than 10,000 employees. The place where the planned factory is built is vast and sparsely populated, with only about 300 families and more than 1,000 people. Haitian Hotel has more than 500 rooms, which can easily accommodate 1,000 or 2,000 people. I invited all the common people to stay at Haitian Hotel temporarily, and summoned more than 1,000 employees and their families to live in their rural homes. Our own employees went to help them test the poison first. I also eat and live on site every day. Except for taking a shower and going to the toilet, I live broadcast the whole process to ensure that I don't sneak out. These ordinary people are not idle either. They all go to various companies under Jinhai to do simple and easy-to-use jobs and are paid according to market prices. It happened to be summer vacation, and the children were also arranged to go to schools under Haitian for free care. The end of summer vacation is the day of harvest. Dozens of buses are mighty, carrying more than 1,000 people back to their homes happily with their wages. They came to the gate of He Youan one after another and lined up to sign up for production line workers. This is also the benefit I promised them. The new company also needs people. It's a win-win situation. But they were moved and grateful. Chairman Rachel, you are such a good person. You don't care about our previous ignorance. Yes, thank you, you are generous and give us job opportunities. That's great. I don't have to leave my hometown anymore. I have good opportunities to work near my home. My son and daughter won't be left behind anymore. They can take care of their elderly parents. Listening to their simple words, I was overjoyed. Efforts pay off. A sincere heart will always bring trust and true love. Finally, everything is on track. I walked alone in the village, enjoying the rare leisure time in this month. Suddenly, a masked man jumped out of the cornfield, with a dagger in his hand emitting a cold light. Rachel, I'll fight you, give me your life. It was Ryan. He deliberately lowered his voice and spoke in a rough voice. I still recognized it and ran away in fear. I have nothing left, how can I still laugh? He chased me closely. I ran to the factory desperately. There were guards at the door. But I fell off the ridge after running only 2 steps. Rachel, you took away my property, leaving me with no money to pay back my mortgage, and Sunny's yacht was auctioned off. She has never been so embarrassed before, her eyes were swollen from crying. You vicious woman. Sunny even asked me to come back and beg you to make peace with you, saying that I was born to be a young master and shouldn't live a poor life. Humph. I won't beg you, I'm going to kill you to vent my anger for Sunny. Ryan's face was ferocious, holding a dagger and approaching me step by step. I was so nervous that my palms were sweating coldly, and I kept backing away and shouting for help. Don't shout. Ryan put the dagger against my neck. Rachel, why can't you stay at home and be Rachel like other women? Rich second generations like me, who doesn't have a bunch of women? I only have Sunny, and I'm very worthy of you. Why are you not satisfied? Do you want to rob my property? At this time, I was not afraid to tell him the truth. Because the day Leo was born, I knew that men were unreliable. Later, when he happily asked for a new mother, I knew that sons were unreliable too. Men and sons will change their hearts, but money won't, and I happen to have the ability to make Jinhai continue to make money. Even my father-in-law recognizes my ability, knowing that you will squander Jinhai, and I can lead it to glory. I just used a little trick to get all the inheritance rights. And you don't deserve it. Ryan was so angry that he jumped up and down. Nonsense. Shut up. When you die, Ruirui will inherit your estate, and Jinhai will still be mine. Ha ha ha. As he spoke, he laughed triumphantly, and the dagger deviated a little. A few farmers emerged from the cornfield behind him, quickly knocked the dagger down, and pressed Ryan to the ground. It turned out that they were going home after the interview, passing by nearby, and heard my cry for help. I called 110, and the police soon arrived and detained Ryan for intentional murder. Ryan was sentenced to 15 years. During that time, I went to see him once. He rushed over to me and asked me if Sunny was doing well and told me to come to him with anything, saying Sunny was innocent. I kindly handed him the phone and let him look at it himself. Living up to his expectations, Sunny was doing well. But he broke down and cried. He was not so sad even when his father died. It turned out that on the day of his sentencing, Sunny couldn't wait to put on her wedding dress and propose to a man in his 60s, just because the old man invested tens of millions of dollars in her movie. Yesterday, they held a high-profile wedding. During the ceremony, Sunny shyly closed her eyes and hugged and nibbled on the old man for a long time. No. Sunny would never do this to me. She said she only loves me. It must be the old man who forced her. Where's my custom-made suit? Sunny is here to see me, so I'll dress up to look handsome. He couldn't accept the reality and went crazy. Love brain is really scary. I need to order some male technicians to calm my nerves.